So I will turn it over to Stan, Jason, and Dennis for your presentation. Thank you for volunteering to join us here. Thank you for putting up with our technology issues and so forth. And we are standing by to learn.
Take it away, Dennis.
Okay, well, let's see. First of all, can you hear me?
Yes. I hear you.
Okay, very good. I'd like to introduce Stan Dillon, K4RCA. Stan and I have been, started out this thing, and it's been through a couple of iterations. Stan and I are kind of partners in crime for a couple of activities, including our beacons. And Jason Purdue, N4JHP. Jason has been very, very helpful in our beacon project, and he's one of our younger and up and coming members, and we're really pleased to have him here. And I'm Dennis Sweeney. I guess my introduction is that I'm retired faculty from Virginia Tech, but I'm an RF hardware guy at heart, and really have kind of enjoyed getting into microwaves. So let me start out here. Let's see if I can make. Okay, there's the first slide. Can you see the first slide?
No.
I do see it.
Yeah, I see it too.
Okay, all right. How to get started in microwaves. And the thing that's important is it's not your kitchen microwave. What we're talking about are amateur bands above 1 gigahertz, and I'm going to include 902 because that's close enough. And it goes to.
Where is the screen share?
Is it okay?
Yeah, Dennis, hold up one sec. Larry, there may be a button there where it asks you to look at the shared content.
Well, this is weird. I have the presentation on my phone, but not on the computer.
Yeah, I saw the presentation test, but I don't see the presentation now.
There may be a little window that says, look at the shared content.
Yeah. Oh, presenter. Share. Nah.
No,
Awful.
no, not you. Dennis, go ahead and share again.
I have no.
Do I need to share again?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Let me get out of here.
Let me see here. I don't know if I have to step in. Okay.
I see Larry's presentation.
Okay. Dennis, are you able to share?
Yeah. It says new share and desktop.
There we go.
Okay.
You got it?
Yep.
All right.
Do you see it, Larry?
So I see somebody's brick wall or something. Oh.
Dennis, just one more moment here.
Okay.
And if Larry's talking, you're muted.
Okay, that's okay. Larry, can you see how to get started in microwaves? No.
He's also muted too. We can't hear you, Larry. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Larry, okay, Larry, you're not muted anymore. Say something, Larry.
Okay, I can see the presentation on my phone, but I don't have it on the screen here. I don't know where it is. Anyway, go ahead without me and
Does
go.
does it change when I change the slide?
I can see it go up and down.
Okay, all right now.
I see Dennis. Okay.
Right.
So I'm going to ask everyone to mute except for Dennis, of course.
Okay, can I continue here?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dennis.
Okay. As I say, this is not your kitchen microwave. This is all of amateur bands of above 1 gigahertz, and it goes to 300 gigahertz and beyond. And I'm going to talk a little bit about where to get the hardware. I'm going to talk about microwave DX, and this I think is probably the most interesting part of the presentation. That you need to think about DX differently. There's a lot of exciting things to do, but it needs a little different thought. And I'm going to talk about antennas, a little bit about antennas, useful test equipment, digital that works good for microwave, and then finally some information exchange here. You know, how to get with other microwavers and find skeds and technical help and all that kind of good stuff. So, where to get it? Well, you can buy it. The ICOM 905 is an all-mode transceiver that goes through 5,600 megahertz, and you can add 10 gigahertz to it as well. This, I think, is a real game changer. And as far as I know, nobody else is doing this. This is really a neat radio. I think Stan has got one of these, don't you?
Yes, I do have that and the 10 gig transverter. And if I can find anybody that will want to work 24, I'll get that probably when it comes out, but I don't know who that'll be.
Yeah, they promise a 24 gigahertz module, but we haven't seen it yet. The one problem with this is it's expensive. It's about $3,000 for the radio and another K for the 10 gigahertz. But it's as Stan can attest, this is quite a radio. There's also other transceivers at 23 centimeters, which is 1296. The most recent one from ICOM is the 9700. It's a really nice radio. There's some older radios that cover 23 centimeters. The Yaesu FT736 will do it. Kenwood TS2000. I've got a 736, and despite the fact that it's 25 plus years old, it's still quite a substantial radio. So you can buy it. A lot of microwave rigs use a thing called a transverter. A transverter is nothing more than an up and down converter. It will convert 10 meters or 2 meters to a microwave frequency. And the advantage of this thing is it retains the CW sideband digital modulation of whatever rig is driving it. And you can buy or build a transverter. It's a mixer and a filter and some amplifiers. You've got a low noise amplifier for your receiver and power amplifiers for the transmitter. This is a homebrew transverter. This is something that I built. And if you look at this, here's the mixer right here. And the local oscillator is this thing called a YIG. This is a microwave device. Iridium iron garnet is the resonator. It's current tuned instead of voltage tuned. It's phase locked to this 10 megahertz oven controlled crystal. This little OCXO is a crystal oven. And the neat thing about this thing is you turn it on and within a minute you're within 100 hertz or so of 10 gigahertz. So it's really great. But there's a mixer, there's a filter, to select the desired response. The other board here is there's some voltage regulators and a sequencer. And then mounted on the antenna here's the antenna that's a dish antenna from TV. There's the feed horn, and then there's a low noise amplifier, receiver low noise amplifier here, and the transmitter power amp. This is about 2.5 watts, and this is very typical of a transverter antenna arrangement. One of the reasons for building it all out here on the antenna is, let me tell you something. Coax line loss kills you very quickly. So that's one of the things you very quickly learn how to handle. You can also buy transverters. The DB6 NT Kuhn is out of Germany. These people are state of the art, but they're relatively expensive. And they have a wide range of products, low noise amplifiers, power amplifiers, as well as transverters, up through 76 gigahertz. Now the problem is they're out of Germany, so it may have held up due to tariffs. So I don't know what the current status is, but these folks make some really good stuff. There's Down East Microwave. They have a large selection of low noise amplifiers, power amplifiers, transverters, parts for 50 megahertz through 10 gigahertz. Some of them are available as kits. Picture there is 10 gigahertz transverter. It's 3 watts, and it's almost $800. It ain't cheap, but a lot of people are using this. This is a good transverter. There's an outfit in Bulgaria called SG Labs, and they make a low-cost transverters for 33, 23, and 13 centimeters. I understand there's also a 6-centimeter transverter, but I haven't been able to find it. And they're relatively low cost. As I say, this is from Bulgaria. Unfortunately, I checked that their post won't send stuff to the United States anymore, so I don't know what the status of this is. But needless to, I've seen a couple of these. These are actually surprisingly good for what you pay for them. And then there's Paul Wade, W1GHZ. Paul has got a collection of low-cost boards and components. And he's got a website that you really need to go to. And this is a good combination of building it from scratch or buying a complete transverter. You can add a power amplifier or a low noise amplifier from Down East Microwave. Paul Wade's online antenna book is really excellent. Yeah, okay. The last part of the transverter is the IF rig. Most microwave transverters convert 2 meters to the desired microwave band. And an all-mode 2-meter radio is what's desired. And the newer ones will support digital. You can also use signal link interface for digital. I've done that. QRP rig for 2 meters is ideal. The IC705 is current state of the art. It's really great radio. I've got one. I think, Stan, you've got one as well?
I do, and I love that radio.
That's a great radio. I have an IC202 and an FD290. They're older. The 290 is actually not bad at all because it'll do AM and it'll do almost all modes. So, but it's cheaper. I've been able to run 28 megahertz. A traditional IF is 144 megahertz for most transverters. I can run 28 because I can build much better filters. And I've been running a Flex 1500, which is a software-defined radio, and an HR 2600, President HR 2600, which is a 10-meter sideband rig. Oh, these are relatively inexpensive. You can also get 28 megahertz to 2-meter converters. They're available on eBay or Paul Wade. Tip here, consider using lithium iron phosphate batteries for portable. They're relatively safe. They don't experience the thermal runaway that some of the others do, other lithium batteries do. They're smaller and lighter than the lead acids, but they are more expensive. I've got one that's got a Bluetooth transceiver in it that and an app that goes on my phone that'll tell you the state of charge. I think you've got some batteries like that too, Stan, don't you?
I do, and I have that Bluetooth app, which is fantastic because you can check the state of charge. But the other nice thing is you can look at the current being drawn. So when you're operating, you look at what's happening, with what you're operating with and the current.
Here's my thing about microwave DX. You need to think about DX differently. The myth on microwaves is that DX is line of sight only, and that's a myth because microwave DX there's certainly line of sight DX, but microwave DX is much more than line of sight. Microwave DX is all about anomalous propagation, things that don't happen very often, but when they do, hundreds of kilometers or more are possible. And it's very exciting to work some of that propagation. Growing activity. There are logs with up to 100 contacts on 10 gigahertz are being submitted for contests. So there's people out there doing it. The simplest award, I think, the place to get started, I think most people know about is the VHF UHF Century Club. It's an award for each band, and how many, you got to work, I think, confirm 100 grids on 6 meters, but you only need 10 grids on 10 gigahertz. So it's still a challenge, and it's worth doing. There's also distance records. I want to talk a little bit about propagation, and this is where some of the more interesting things happen. First of all, let's not downgrade line of sight. Direct path is worth considering. Direct path is useful for testing and just having fun. There's a website called heywhatsthat.com that'll give you a plot between 2 points on the Earth, and that the graphic up there at the top is from that website, and that plot goes between Bald Knob near Hot Springs, Virginia, to the Mill Mountain Star in Roanoke, Virginia. The star, by the way, is a local landmark, and it's actually usable for non-line of sight paths as well. If you look at the center, there's one peak that almost intersects. If that were a little higher, you would have potentially knife edge scattering over mountain ranges. So the picture there is my friend Jim Bowen, W.A.S.H, and I we were working 10 gigahertz line of sight from the Mill Mountain Star to Gene, W.A.S.H on Bald Knob. If you look at the little blue smudge back here, that's where Gene is. And Jim is holding my 20 dB gain horn antenna. And I'll tell you, I've found paths over 160 kilometers in Virginia, and I found and it's good for getting started on 24 gigahertz and above. If you're interested in higher than 24 gigahertz, it's almost all line of sight. So anyway, don't forget it. It's fun. And then there's the not so direct path. This is the path between Stan and myself on 1296. It's 80 kilometers, and it's clear that it's not line of sight. But we always have workable signals, but the signals vary from S9, and you can sit and have an armchair QSO, to just above the noise. So, but it's very clear that this is not a line of sight path. So even if you don't have a direct path, it's worth trying. Now, Stan, you got a recording of this?
I do. So let me play that here and see if we can get this going. And you will hear Dennis and I in QSO over this path, which is kind of amazing.
Yeah. I might tweak my antenna a little bit and see if I can improve that, but I don't see much value in that. Those antennas are, I've got your long looper, which is maybe about 10 degrees or so, 5 or 10 degrees. So it's doing a job. But I'm not even hearing any background USB. Sometimes I hear some watery background USB, but I'm not even getting that this afternoon. Go ahead.
So that's pretty good over that path.
And we can work it just about, it's variable, but we can work it just about any day we try. Stan's speculation is that it works better in warm weather, and we're kind of trying to figure that out. So, but it's been fun.
So again, where are you aiming your antenna when it's not direct line of sight?
Right at we point them at each other.
But that's not always the case. When we're working each other, we do aim direct, but sometimes you don't. Sometimes if you've got a knife edge or some other reflection off of something, then you may not aim direct. But for what we're doing, which I think is a lot of troposcatter going over that big bulge right in the middle of the path there, we aim direct.
Okay.
I'll have something to say about that on one of the other slides here. In fact, this is rain scatter. Rain scatter is very popular on 10 gigahertz, and it should work on most microwave bands. Stan and I and Gene PGI have done rain scatter on what, 1296?
We've done, yes, and of course 10 gigahertz.
And a lot of people are doing it on 10. And just to put this in context, I'm sure most of you have seen the rain weather radar maps on television. Essentially, what they're doing is they're looking at the backscatter from rainstorms. Well, there's also forward scatter, which a lot of people are using to communicate. W4DEX Dexter down in North Carolina holds the rain scatter DX record on 10 gigahertz at over 1,000 kilometers. I mean, this is DX, folks. It works well with FM and CW. It tends to distort the sideband. If any of you worked 6-meter Aurora, you'll understand that. There's a website called rainscatter.com. You register your call and your location and your contact data, and folks will call you up for a potential contact. It also gives the rainstorm location and the potential contact radius. And here is a good example of what Stan was saying, is that you aim at the rainstorm, not necessarily at the person you're communicating with, because you're looking for the backscatter. Or the forward scatter, as the case may be. So anyway, Stan, you got a clip of this?
Yes, I do. Now, this is let me get it here. This is Gene WA4PGI in QSO with Geddes in Fort Wayne, Indiana on and his call's W8 BY8. It's rain scatter, it's CW, and this might be a little hard to hear, but this is what it sounds like. there you go.
As Stan points, Stan's clip really shows is the dispersion that you're going to hear in this. Geddes and up in what, Fort Wayne?
Geddes in Fort Wayne, yes.
Yeah, he's really big into this, and you'll get a call if you list yourself on Rain Scatter, you'll get a call from Geddes.
But one neat thing about working rain scatter, if the signal is good enough, instead of working CW or sideband, you switch to FM and you get rid of all that multipath distortion. And it sounds almost like you're talking on a repeater.
It's like I said, it's nothing short of amazing. And as I said, Dex worked what was it, Block Island and Rhode Island on 10 gigahertz on a rain scatter contact that was over 1,000 kilometers. Okay, let's talk about tropospheric ducting. This gets a little bit more complex. There are some URLs here that would be helpful. There's a thing called the Hepburn maps, which are useful and for predicting troposcatter. To understand tropo, you have to understand. My thing is I'm sure most of you have looked across the parking lot on a warm day and it looks like a pool of water. But what you're really seeing is the sky reflected back to you because the line of the sky is bent up. Now, what would happen if you were an ant on the parking lot and you looked up? You wouldn't see the sky. What you would see is the parking lot at some point distant because your line of sight is bent back toward the parking lot. And that's how it works. This is the mode that's been used to bridge the Hawaii West Coast path on every microwave band to 6 centimeters. That's 5,700 megahertz. That's 3,400 kilometers. I mean, that's serious DX. And the interesting thing about tropo is the signals can be very strong because the geometry is such that normal path loss is a function of 1 over the distance squared. During a tropo event, it gets close to 1 over the distance, so the signals can be very strong. Our Poor Mountain 1296 beacon has been copied in Illinois on tropo ducting, so it happens. Now, this is interesting. Stan has got another clip, and this is Gene working a couple of Canadian stations on tropo, and this was a 650 plus kilometer path.
Yeah, this is the coolest one yet. So let me play this. And let's see, here we go.
Roger. Okay. Thank you very much, Gene. Thanks very much. I'm going to turn you over to V2UG. Here he comes.
WA4 PGI, WA4 PGI. This is Victor Echo 2 Uniform Golf, Victor Echo 2 Uniform Golf. Please copy Foxtrot November 03 Lima Tango. Foxtrot November 03 Lima Tango. QSL.
QSL, nice signal, nice 5-7 signal here on the mountains down here, the mountains of Virginia. You are 5-7, Fox Mike 07, Charlie Whiskey.
So yeah, Gene worked actually 4 of those guys right in a row. They were on. They had each had their own station, but they were together there in Ontario, Canada.
The thing that I find amazing about that clip is how strong the signals were. Now, Gene, by the way, PGI runs a series of beacons off a mountain near Hot Springs, Virginia, and he does good stuff. And then there's scatter. Anything that reflects is fair game. Airplanes, broadcast towers. In fact, Gene's WA4PGI runs a 10 gigahertz beacon off the Bald Knob, and I have detected it in Blacksburg, reflected off the Roanoke Poor Mountain TV towers, and I'm 100 plus miles away, over a couple of mountain ridges. There's a 10 gigahertz TV tower reflections talk done by Ben K4QF that's on our is archived on our Blue Ridge Microwave Society website. But that's it's not something you'd think about, but it works, and I think people need to experiment with it a little bit more. There's also troposcatter, and I think that's some of what we're seeing with our 1296 across that obstructed path. Classic troposcatter stations illuminate a common scattering volume, and it's the irregularities in the atmosphere that do the reflection. And the military has used this for a number of years, up well over 500 kilometers. In fact, I found some reference to 1,000-kilometer paths using troposcatter. Now, they ran high power and big antennas. I mean, antennas the size of a football field and 10-kilowatt klystrons. But they were doing wideband communications channels. The more modest power levels and antennas that we as amateurs have would work with narrowband systems. So I think that's something that we need to explore some more. The signals for this tend to be pretty weak, but they also tend to be fairly consistent. Okay, this isn't propagation, but I added it to our DX, and that's roving. And the roving is how to become a rare DX. Roving, I suspect some of you who've worked, micro VHF or UHF contests have done roving. It's real popular during contests, and you work as many stations and as many different grids as you can in a given time. One of the things to do is go to a rare grid square, and all of a sudden you become the rare DX. There's a grid square down in North Carolina at Curl Beach, and there's just a little tiny sliver of this that's on land, and a lot of people have gone down there and during contests and work people from Curl Beach. The weekend mountain topping is also popular. One of the things that we on our website, people will often list their trips to mountain tops. But anyway, roving is a lot of fun, and it's rovers often run multiple bands. It's mobile operations on steroids, so go for it. And finally, there's moon bounce. This is the ultimate DX. It's been done on every band from 10 meters to 47 gigahertz. In fact, I know there's a group trying to make it happen at 75 gigahertz. How do you make 100 watts at 75 gigahertz? They're still working on that. Everything you ever want to know about EME is Bob Atkins' websites. You go there. DL0SHF runs a 10 gigahertz beacon off the moon when they can see the moon. I understand that the English are also in the process of setting up a 1296 EME beacon. It used to take large antennas and high power, and I tried to do it actually with a 5-meter dish that the university had. It's kind of a long story. I was not successful. It's still a challenge, but digital modes and new technology make it more doable than you think. Al Ward, W5LUA, has done small dish EME. That's a 1-meter dish, and he's done EME with it. There's a guy in Australia, Rex VK7MO, has got a great YouTube website about his small dish EME. So it's doable. Don't rule it out, but it is still a challenge. Okay, let's talk a little bit about antennas. This is an important part of any station, and I think amateur experiments with antennas are one of those things that set us apart. There's Paul Wade's antenna book online. Everything you ever wanted to know about microwave antennas. He's got a good combination of theory and practice. If you want to build things, you can. For the lower microwave bands, loop Yagis are widely used. There's directive systems. Stan and I run 55 element loopers on 1296.
That's great. Yep.
And this is a great place for homebrew. Gene is a PGI has got a couple of papers on Blue Ridge microwave about 3-sided corner reflectors. Now these things are cheap, they're easy to build, and they'll do 16 or 18 dB gain, and all you need is a coax connector and a trip to the hardware store. They're horns. Paul Wade's antenna book talks about horns. I've got some software I've written to analyze and design horns, and maybe one of these days I'll get it published. But back when I started doing my first 10 gigahertz contacts, I had a 20 dB gain horn antenna that worked real well. They're Wi-Fi antennas. The picture over here is a Hanna wireless reflector. This thing has got a 30 dB gain at 5760. I got one of those. I'm going to set it up for 6 centimeters. For portable operation, 30 dB gain antennas are about right. They're small enough you can handle. They offer high gain, but they're not too difficult to aim. So that's a good trade-off. The small TV dish is good for 10 gigahertz. They're cheap. Your neighbor may want to give his or hers away, so ask. Or they're on eBay. They're about 30 dB gain at 10 gigahertz, which is good for portable. They're easy to modify for 10 gigahertz. Paul Wade sells a 10 gigahertz, 24 gigahertz TV dish feed. If you want to run 24, that's the thing to do. But the original feed horn is actually usable at 10 gigahertz, but it does require some modification. Tim O'Rourke, W4YN, has got a paper on our website about modifying TV dish for 10 gigahertz. I modify the problem is that the circular waveguide in the horn will only support down to about 10.8 gigahertz. So what I did is I chucked mine up in a lathe and bored it out 50 thousandths, and now it works down to 9.8. That's what you got to do. Gene has got a clever tweak for these antennas, and he added some symmetrically placed reflective dots on the dish. They don't look like they're symmetric, but they are. And you can point it at the sun and figure out where the horn focus is. Again, one thing that's important is, like depth and taxes, you always have loss. So don't even think about using that RG58. You need good low loss microwave cables and connectors. Test equipment. You don't need a bench full of HP test equipment. It's nice, and some of that's available through Blue Ridge Microwave, but there's some low cost battery powered stuff that's really handy for field use. I've got an HP network analyzer, but I can't take it out in the field. It takes a forklift truck to move it. So there's a thing called a nano VNA, and the original one is good to about 1.5 gigahertz, but the newer ones go to 4 or even 6 gigahertz. I've got a 4 gigahertz one. They're good for testing and filters and antennas. I think the 4 gigahertz one $200. If you, Stan, you got a 4 gigahertz one, don't you?
Yes, I do. I can't remember exactly, but it was very economical.
Yeah. There's also the Tiny SA Ultra, which is a spectrum analyzer in the same package. It's kind of about 2 credit card size, and it's good through 6 gigahertz, and it's usable to 10. It's not well calibrated at 10, but it's usable. And it's handy to be able to have something to ensure that you're actually transmitting. One caution is you need to make sure you get a genuine unit. There's a number of subpar clones out there. The other thing that you might want to consider is an AD8317 power detector. And these things are usable through 10 gigahertz, and they're available on eBay for, $10 or $15 on little printed circuit boards with connectors. And W4YN, Tim O'Rourke has got a paper that he wrote on using the AD8317 for power measurement. Add a directional coupler and attenuator or two, and you're good for adjusting antennas and measuring power. And you can find the directional couplers and attenuators on eBay. I bought some attenuators on eBay for about $10 or so, and they were specified to 8 gigahertz, and only I measured them to 10, and they were just as good at 10 as they were at 8. So, but that's really worth looking into. Okay, let's talk about digital. Digital modes offer extended weak signal performance. Everybody, I think, knows about W.A.S.H. There's FT8 and FT4 are popular. But there are other modes that are actually much better for microwave. Q65 is recommended for EME, scatter, and other weak signal VHF, UHF, and microwave work. Joe Taylor's moved all his stuff from the Columbia website to SourceForge. There's also Olivia, which is a multi-frequency shift key mode that allows keyboard to keyboard communication, and it's almost as good as W.A.S.H, but you can have a real QSO with it. It's a little bit like the old RTTY. FL Digi is free software for Olivia. Does he, Stan? I think you've got a clip of this.
Yes, I have a clip of Olivia, and it's usable on all bands. I use it on 40 meters. There's actually an Olivia net each week on 40 meters hosted by the Vienna Wireless Society in Vienna, Virginia. But we've used this on all the way up. Well, I think I've used it on 10 gigahertz, but we've used it on 1296, and it's really phenomenal because it's got forward error correction. So you get almost perfect copy, and it also handles Doppler shift somewhat, not perfectly. But let me play a clip of what Olivia sounds like. And when I click this, you're going to hear this little preamble, and then you're going to hear the rest of it. And the little preamble is the Reed-Solomon section, which tells what mode you're using, so that the receiving station can figure out how to set his station or automatically set his station. So you'll hear that. Let me play a clip. So that was me calling CQ, that whole thing.
It's not the aliens landing. Actually, we've used it on 1296, and both of us run modest power on the order of 200 watts, but we've lowered power. We got it down to 10 watts or so.
Yeah, and you can use Olivia when you can not even hear or barely hear the signal. It is that good. It's really a marvelous. Um, Now there is this new mode that I've been using, and we haven't tried this yet. And this is free DV, free digital voice, and uh, it's been around a long time, but they've changed the code on it here recently, and it's quite the coming thing. And I've been on HF with it here for the last several weeks, and it is unbelievable. And I want to try it on some, VHF and microwave contacts because it has really good sensitivity, better than single sideband actually, and the bandwidth is half of a single sideband signal, but you get 8K of audio. So the audio is really nice and it's not robotic sounding, but that's another thing we'll have to talk about at another time. But it's just a new one of these things coming along, and it does not use the internet to send the information. You're sending everything RF digitally. So it's really this is something I think younger people might really enjoy because they enjoy the computer aspects. So this might be a way of tying people into these, using these different modes digitally and such, and getting more activity and interest.
Hey, Stan,
Yes.
that mode, I've looked at it very briefly. Does it require additional hardware to run that mode?
All you need is your computer, and you use the sound card in your computer, and you don't use the microphone on your radio. You need to use a little microphone on your computer. You can use the built-in microphone on your computer, but what I'm using is a little USB Bluetooth microphone that I bought on Amazon for like $16, and it was actually two of these little microphones in the set, and excellent audio. I mean, just excellent. You won't believe how good it sounds. I've had QSOs for 30 and 40 minutes with someone on the West Coast, and it sounds like they're sitting in the room with you. So no, you don't have to have anything other than your computer and some sort of microphone.
Yeah, I haven't tried it yet. We're Stan and I have talked about trying it first on 6 meters and then going to 1296. I've been kind of busy with another project, but that I'm going to put that on the to-do list. The one thing about digital, one caveat is it tends to require higher frequency stability and precision. And oven-controlled oscillators, OCXOs or GPS lock is desirable. I built a GPS locked synthesizer for my FT 736, and boy, I'll tell you, that makes all the difference in the world when you run them digital, because you know what frequency you're on and you know exactly where you are. So, but that's worth the extra effort. Okay, let me talk a little bit about information exchange. Here's our Blue Ridge Microwave Society. This started about 5 years ago. It's our local group, and Stan was the one who suggested that we go to the groups IO, and it's a place to go for skeds, activity announcements, technical help. We've got a growing technical archive with some good stuff. At least I think it's good stuff. And we have almost 200. I think there's now 250 registered members worldwide. And this has really surprised us because it was intended to be kind of a local group, but the word has gotten out, and we've got members in Europe and Australia. Is anybody in Japan there, Stan, you know?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. And really everywhere. It's really fascinating to see all these people, that are anxious to learn more about what's going on with microwave.
So it's an informal group that we don't have a club per se, but the picture there is we've had a couple of what we call BGTs, Blue BRMS get-togethers, and Stan and I are in here. There's me and there's Stan. Jason's here somewhere, I think too. But they've been kind of fun and useful experience. There are microwave conferences. There's a yearly microwave update, and it's going to be sponsored in October 2026 by the Rochester VHF group. There are publications. Dubus is a German-English European microwave publication that's not well subscribed to in this country, I'm afraid. Their level of technical sophistication is probably the best I've seen. And then, of course, there's QEX. Now, actually, I have published in all three of these. I published my first paper in Microwave Update in 1989, designing waveguide bandpass filters. And would you believe I'm still getting correspondence on that paper? I've published a couple of things in Dubus, a couple of things in QEX. I have mixed feelings about QEX. I found the editing somewhat quirky. My paper on phase noise measurement, they initially weren't interested in. And so I sent it to Dubus and they published it. And then QEX said, oh yeah, we'll publish it. Well, they published it with a math error that I had pointed out. And then they gave me an award for the paper. So anyway, I still would publish in QEX because I think it's widely it's available in this country, and I think that's what's important. Is that if you got an interesting idea, publish it. That's what you need to do. There are nets. We have an East Coast 70-centimeter net that W4DEX has been running for what, 40, 50 some?
46 or 7 years.
Yeah. And we have a BRMS 2-meter sideband net that meets on Mondays.
And by the way, we've had stations in Pennsylvania check into this 2-meter sideband net. So anyone up there equipped for 2-meter sideband,
Cool.
8:30 Monday evenings, we're all ears down this way, and we've got a lot of well equipped stations. So please check in if you can hear it.
There's a chat room that's run by W4DEX that we use. And we've started talking about. I'm not sure I want to call it a net for 1296. There are probably 15, 18, 24 people in the area that have 1296.
Yes, and growing.
So we're unfortunately we missed the first of the activity nights tonight for this presentation, but we'll be there. So if you got 1296, my best DX on 1296 is up in Illinois, so it's doable. There's microwave organizations. San Bernardino is the granddaddy of them all. Microwave Texas, North Texas Microwave Society, the Pack Rats. We actually did this presentation for the Pack Rats. I was really impressed. And then, of course, there's the Rochester VHF group. There's some chat rooms. I mentioned Dex, W4DEX's chat room. And there's also ON4KST. That one's real active during contests. You can go there and get and for SCAD. Activity days coordinated by North Texas. And then, our BRMS group, if you're going mountaintop and people post stuff to BRMS, There's contests, ARRL 10 gigahertz and up, the June, September, January VHF, UHF contests. There's an EME contest. So there's lots of stuff to do. One of the things that we found very helpful is our beacons. We are running a 1296 beacon off of Poor Mountain, Virginia right now on 1296.24 megahertz. And it covers what? Pretty much the whole state.
And this is where I'm going to ask Jason to come in here a minute. Jason, you tell them what you do every day, and then tell them a little bit about Poor Mountain and the facility up there where this beacon is. And then Dennis can talk in a minute about the new beacon that's proposed for up there. But go ahead and talk a little bit there, Jason.
Yeah, I work for a radio communications company that takes care of about 30 or 40 different area radio stations around and two-way communications and whatnot. So we're able to have the beacon on Poor Mountain in one of the FM broadcast facilities, and that way, whenever we do monthly checks up there and whatnot, I can keep an eye on the beacon and make sure everything runs good and it's in a secure building so nobody can really mess with it that shouldn't need to, and it's got backup power and pretty nice facility located at 3,800 feet as you can see there, so pretty nice location, obviously gets out well.
Yes, totally climate controlled commercial site. You know, it's got what is it, like 200,000 watts FM station there, and then some other ones there as well, right in that building, right?
Yeah. Yep, 3 radio stations out of the same building, probably like 400,000 watts combined power.
But that's the 1296 beacon, and anyone up there in Pennsylvania who's equipped, I bet you could hear that beacon up that way, because we've gotten reports from as far as the suburbs of Chicago for that beacon.
What kind of multi-direction antenna are you using?
Using an Alford slot. It was made by Gene, WA4PGI. And Dennis, what do those things have? What was that, about 15 dB?
It's about 6 dB gain, and we've got 10 watts on the antenna.
Okay, so it's a physically vertical antenna, but the polarization is horizontal, and it's in a radome there up on top of the mountain to keep from getting torn up. It has gotten completely enveloped with ice up there before, and then Dennis, you can tell him about what you got planned for the other beacon.
Oh, yeah. Jason has been really helpful. I mean, in terms of getting our beacon set up and all that kind of good stuff. So, and it's also one of our up and coming microwavers. So we're real pleased to have Jason helping us. Gene PGI runs beacons off of Warm Springs Mountain in Bath County. That's at 4,300 feet. And he's got one for 432, 1296, 5760, and 10,368. We have got one. I'll talk about it briefly. We've got a 10 gigahertz Q65 CW beacon for Poor Mountain that's currently under construction, and Jason will help us install it here, hopefully in the spring. So, here's a peek. This is a peek at the 10 gigahertz beacon. On the right hand side is the outdoor unit, which contains a 2-watt amplifier and some voltage regulators. And the antenna is a 16-slot waveguide antenna. It has about 10 dB a gain, roughly. and the wings, the side panels on this produce a better circular pattern, so it's more omnidirectional. The left-hand side is the indoor unit. Uh, it's a bit further along. Right now, it's minus the right here in the blank space. I just installed a control computer. We have a computer that we can access over the internet to turn it on and off. And we're using an RF0 transmitter to generate the Q65 CW. I don't know how familiar you are with Q65, but it's one of the Joe Taylor's digital modes, and it can be copied deeper into the noise than CW, and it's ideal for scatter. So, and there's a GPS receiver that locks it on frequency, and all of this is the RF stuff. There's a local oscillator. I take the output of the GPS and multiply it up to 10,000 296 megahertz and mix it with 72.24 megahertz. And then this filter, there's a 5-section waveguide filter that filters it. And when I look at the spurious outputs, it challenges my spectrum analyzer, so it's very clean. That's one of the when you run beacons on mountaintops, there's several things you have to consider. The fact that you're operating in a very hostile RF environment, as Jason pointed out, the FM transmitters in the building where our 1296 beacon is have an effective radiated power of 400 kilowatts. I mean, so you really have to be very careful about your shielding and your packaging. The other thing that's not immediately obvious is that power can get down your antenna into your transmitter, and the output of your transmitter is a very non-linear device, and it can cause harmonics and spurious to be generated and make this stuff that you don't want to have. So you have to be really careful of that. The 1296 and the 10 gigahertz beacon have been somewhat of a challenge to make sure that our 23 centimeter beacon has been on continuously now for 5 years. It's never been off, to the best of my knowledge. And so you have to you operate in this hostile environment, and you have to make sure that your beacon survives. So that's a somewhat different philosophy than a lot of hams build stuff. So anyway, that's kind of where we are. And that brings me to the end. We may be Looney Tunes, but that ain't all, folks. Go work some microwave. I don't know, to Jason or Stan, you want to add anything?
Well, I just want to thank your club for inviting us. And like Dennis said earlier, we've done this several other times. The first was to the Raleigh Amateur Radio Society when Dennis and I actually drove down there. And we had like over 80 people at that club meeting. But in September, Dennis and I and Jason, we presented to Virginia Tech, to the Virginia Tech Amateur Radio Association, to the students. And we had about 20, we had a room full, 25, 28 engineering students mostly in there. And Jason helped them. The nice thing, the nicest thing about that is, well, two things. The students were really eager and engaged, but I also took some equipment up there and we operated 10 gigahertz across campus with some gunplexer units. And Jason took one of the units and went across campus, and we had the other one, and they actually got to make 10 gigahertz contacts. And so it was a real big hit there. So we really enjoyed doing this. And again, thank you for inviting us. So Jason, if you have anything to say, go ahead and say it. And
I don't really have anything else to add except, yeah, thank you for inviting us and let letting us make the presentation and teach you about microwave.
Okay, thanks, folks. Appreciate it. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, Jim.
Okay, good. So I'm going to add some comments for the local guys. The TV dish antennas, they mentioned 30 dB gain. That takes 1 watt and makes it a kilowatt of ERP. Do not look into that thing. The IC 9700 is a nice radio. I almost bought one when I thought my 910 was dead. And that radio has all 3 bands, and it's cheaper than I paid for either my 2-meter ICOM or my 70 centimeter ICOM some years ago. So you get a whole lot of pump in one radio for a reasonable amount. The ICOM 905, I'm a little less interested in that. That's clearly for rover stations, and you all know I'm trying to build a base station. In terms of test equipment, some of you know this, but maybe not. I have an HP 8714. You have seen the output from that in several articles I've written for the WA.S.H rag. That's a network analyzer that I use for frequency sweeps and so forth. That's good to 3.5 gigahertz. I have some older stuff, sweep generators, and an Alred network analyzer that is good to 18 gigahertz. I will tell you, I use that stuff to take some 12 gigahertz telephone company filters and tune them down to 10 gigahertz. And they are so sharp that you could use a 28 megacycle IF on a 10 gigahertz transverter. Not that I would, but that's how sharp the filters are. And the transmission loss is less than 1 dB. So, you know, if you want to get into any of this stuff, I have some equipment to help you with. I have multiple HP 432 power meters, which you can do for manual brute force power measurement. May not be accurate, but you can use them to tune a filter and see if your transverter is working. I do have an NOVNA. I think it's one of the good ones. I am putting together, you all know I'm not allowed to climb anymore, but I'm putting together a station for 6 meters, 2 meters, 70 centimeters, 902, 1296, 2304, and eventually 5 and 10 gigahertz on a 110-foot tower. And my goal is to put together a serious enough microwave station that will encourage people to get on. And to that end, I have the pieces parts. I'm putting together 2 loaner rover stations. One is ICOM radio 6 meters through 1296, and another one is is an FT817 and a bunch of transverters. And I'm hoping once I have my station on this spring or this summer to loan those out for people in a VHF contest. And yeah, I'm looking at you. We got to come up with some antennas, but I have some ideas on a log periodic antenna. And then lastly, I have they mentioned gunplexers. I have a pair of gunplexers. I bought those in Virginia. We're going to use them to link a couple of repeaters together. And then I had the audacity to retire from the Navy and move to Pennsylvania. So that never happened. But I have some brand new gunplexers, not surplus garage thingies. Brand new gunplexers if anybody wants to play with them. So that is what I would add. Gentlemen, I thank you for the presentation. It's been very informative. And at this point, I would say if you want to check out, you can. And Nathan, it's 8 o'clock, 8:15. You can decide what we want to do about a business meeting.
Yeah, we'll rip through the rest. Thank you. Really Mike excited. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Y'all have a good night.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yep, thank you.
Very nice presentation. Thank you. Okay, as far as the business, you guys, we'll quickly blast through everything in time. You know, just cover everything. Super important. We don't have a treasurer's report tonight. Mark wasn't able to make it.
I'm here.
Oh, okay. Thanks for joining us, Mark. Do you want to do the treasurer report?
Yeah, your audio is bit low. I'm not sure if it's me or if it's all around.
It's me. I'm a little bit away from the microphone. I'll try and get that microphone on him. If you put it on, I'll speak in that direction. I think it should be adequate. How's that, Mark? Does that sound good?
It's a little improved.
Okay. Go ahead.
All right, for the month of December, beginning balance, let me see here, was 13,413. About income of $182.04. Expenses of $2,526.75, which leaves us a balance at the end of the year, 11,068.29.
And let's see here.
What was the $2,000 expenses for? Just curious.
First prize for the Hamfest,
Okay.
and I can give you some other stuff if you like.
No, that's good enough. Thank you.
Do we have a motion to
So moved.
Second.
Ron, Harold?
Glenn.
All in favor?
Glenn.
Second.
Anybody opposed? All right, very good. For the secretary report, I have the last month's minutes, and those are in the January newsletter. Then do you have anything to add to the secretary report?
No, just I am here.
All right, thank you, Bill. Let's see. Frank's not here, but normally we would talk repeaters.
They are repeating.
Thank you, Jim. And did Tom make it?
Muted. Move it away from. They're going to hear it if it goes off even back here. Yeah, okay.
So the WASHnet, Tom has picked up hosting the WASHnet for this year every week. So look for him on there. The attendance has been pretty good and good participation. Glenn, anything regarding Tech Talk?
I think tonight was a great equivalent to a Tech Talk. I'd like to see more of these. I come across these videos, which I think you guys you must be waiting for these, with bated breath. But I prefer these type of shows. So
I'm working on putting together for February, as I have threatened for a long time, a presentation on the Smith chart. And I will warn you that it's going to be two presentations. The first one will probably make your head hurt, but that's the whole point. The second one will be.
Hey, you're hard to hear, Jim.
All right, how about now?
That's better.
Yeah, I picked up the microphone. I'm working on putting together a presentation for February on the Smith chart. The first one will make your head hurt because it's going to be a whole lot of arithmetic, and that's the point. And then the next lecture, and I visualize part A at the club meeting, part B at the next Thursday tech topic. I'm going to show how we can use the Smith chart both on paper with my 1972 issue Naval Academy navigation equipment. Can solve those problems graphically, and then we'll move into how some software can solve those problems even more quickly. And I think it will be very valuable in terms of understanding antenna impedances and so forth. So, now that I've laid it out, I'm kind of committed, huh?
We'll look forward to that. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Glenn. Harold, did you?
And you know what? Thanks, Jim, for putting this together tonight too.
All right, thank you. Okay, let's see. I forgot to for the secretary report. Do we have a motion for the secretary report?
Move to accept.
All right, Jim B. Harold second. All in favor of accepting the secretary report?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, thank you. All right. Okay, let's see, Mike, and Kathy, anything, for public service?
Marathon's coming up May 3rd. That's, you guys get to keep winter to yourselves.
Excellent, thank you very much. Newsletter. Out. Pretty good. We probably don't have grant, for VE. I do believe there is a plan to have, VE session at the Hamfest. Thank you. And, Carol's absent, no report for Ways and Means. But I will mention, she did say, that everything is on track for the Hamfest. She's got prizes pretty much 100% worked out, and everything else is good shape. She ordered tickets, and those are on the way. So we're good to go for the Hamfest. Larry, anything in the contest world that you'd like to tell us about?
Well, the rules are out for the 2-meter simplex contest, which is this Saturday from 7 to 9 p.m. And the rules have been published. And I suggest you look at them carefully. I'm going to have to do paper logging and then transfer the stuff to the computer log, because they're no longer accepting paper logs. And note that the time is supposed to be UTC, so it's not 7 to 9 p.m. It's more like 2300 to 1 to 100 the next day. That's kind of an unnecessary step, but most contests are logged in UTC. So I'm going to go out mobile if my antenna and my physical self is able to do so. And I'm encouraging anybody else who can go mobile to do so, and see you there.
Let me also add to what Larry said, that we did some testing, and we took a lot of input from our group, our focus group, that the mobile operators get their due, for going out, as well as the number of zip codes. So that, I think that harkens back to the way it used to be, 100 years ago. So I guess we've returned back to that line of scoring. So, and it should be much easier. You just put stuff in, it does all the math for you, and you just send in the score in that email address, and that should make it easier.
Excellent.
Oh, I have no doubt that it will make it easier.
Question.
Go ahead with the question. Who is this?
Mark.
Mark, thank you. Go ahead.
I read the rules and stuff, and I've never had a chance in the past to participate. So I'm going to ask the pros. If you're out on the road, how do you know what zip code that you're in, unless you go to a certain spot that you know? I mean, how do you know once you switch from your home to somewhere else?
Yeah, Mark, the way I used to do it, I guess they're still out there, but there are maps that you can. I printed it off, and I wrote. I took the map and I highlighted the boundaries, and I even decided ahead of time where I was going to go. that way, you got to keep your eyes on the road. Please, nobody operate while you're driving. The way the laws are now, we don't need that kind of trouble. Just, park someplace and then operate.
The Pittsburgh or the area gazetteer has all of the zip codes, the official ones for the U.S. Post Office. And I print off maps from that, and very helpful. I don't know if there's enough time to print off some for other people as well that are going out mobile, but you can then plan your route. The maps are the maps do not show elevation. That's kind of important. So it's up to you where to go within that particular zip code.
Okay, could if it isn't like an issue there, could you put that link out on the list server?
Well, it's not a link. It's actually a book that's full of maps.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'm afraid there may very well be digitized versions of it, Mark.
Okay, I didn't know. That's why. Okay. And Larry, you got two.
Yes, I do, because one is the cell phone with the much better audio, and
okay.
I'm serious. The speakers and computers stink.
I hear you. Thanks.
All right, thank you.
And this is Scott, Alpha Charlie 3 Golf Bravo, with a question as well.
Yep.
I was looking through it. We don't enter in the frequency. We just put our zip code in time, right? And the call sign of that person.
I think that's correct. I haven't looked at the logger for a while, but
that's right. You
okay.
don't need to put. It's assumed to be one of the 2-meter simplex frequencies. Period.
2? I thought there was like 4 or 5 of them, like every 15.
No, it's the 2. I'm saying all the 2-meter simplex frequencies.
Oh, got it. Yeah. Okay, cool.
It's in the rules. If you look there, it gives you the list of frequencies.
Yeah, but as far as logging goes, I just want to make sure we didn't need to actually enter the frequency, which I'm cool with.
Thank you, Scott. Good question. Okay, any new business?
Me? I just want to remind anybody that does photos, I'm going to be at Cabin 2 in Raccoon State Park. And anyone is welcome to come down and stop in and say hey and get something warm in their tummies and use the bathroom. It's the 17th and 18th of this month.
Thank you, Kathy. Jim.
So I wanted to remind that I had mentioned before, Patty's interested in having a potluck at our place. And the dates we're looking at are 28 February and 7 March. I'm thinking 7 March is better given the proximity of the February date to the Ham Fest. But please let us know your preference and if you're coming in, what you're going to bring, and we will take it from there.
Thank you, Jim.
Hey, Jim, would you send that out on the reflector so that?
Yeah, I can do that. I can do that.
Thanks.
Hey, Jim, that wouldn't be by any chance the date that you'll have all that stuff built and you need somebody to climb, is it?
Oh, I wish. No, I don't think so.
All right.
I do hope to have the antennas finished so that, yeah, if someone wants to climb 110 feet on the 28th of February, I would love to have them do that and put that stuff up. But just, I somehow don't think that's going to happen.
Well, you got an extra week if you go in March. So.
Yeah, I am going to try to get the antennas finished by then and the feed lane purchased and configured. But I don't see anybody climbing the tower in 28 February. Unless we have some days like tomorrow where it's going to be 60-some degrees.
Okay, any old business?
I don't know if this is old or new.
Go ahead.
well, just to remind folks, if you join or renew ARRL, I can mail you a form that you can send in with your app that the club gets a kickback from either a new or a renewal. You don't have to send your stuff to me for me to send it out, but if that's easier, I can certainly have that done. What else? What else? What else? Oh, and I need my eyes checked because I thought in the newsletter I saw an actual digital contest in the list of events. I could be wrong.
Not the first time.
Yeah, first time I saw it, but maybe I didn't look close enough. So, thanks.
Thank you, Mark. Anything for good of the order for tonight?
Glenn,
Go ahead, Glenn.
it's my last mention of it. I have a reservation for Dayton this year. The hotel, if I don't hear anything from anybody in the next week, then I'm just going to cancel and I'll do Dayton next year.
Very good. Thank you. We have a motion to adjourn.
So move.
One thing real quick.
Go ahead.
I forgot. If I'm able to, if anybody that's going out on the road, if they want me to log for them or help them out, since I've never done it, give me a yell. I'd be happy to help out any way I can, because being the first time, I don't know what zip codes are on what hilltops and everything else. So if anybody's going out on the road and needs an extra hand, give a yell.
Okay. Thank you very much. We have a motion from Jim to adjourn. Anyone else second? All right.
Aye. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Jim.
Hey, I would like some feedback on how this, from everybody, on how the Zoom call went. This is the first time we've done it this big. Now, if you had some local challenges with Windows or something, we probably couldn't help you with that. But I also am pretty sure that this meeting has been recorded. So hopefully I can get that sent out, or however that's done, to those who want it. So.
Yeah, Glenn, I will tell you from my perspective, I think the Zoom call went just fine.
Okay.
Yeah, especially the shared screen when I realized that I should click on Dennis's, and then the shared screen came up just fine.
Oh, good. Good. I think our friend Bill may need some help with his technology there. So someone's so inclined to go out and visit him, we should do that.
But here in the building, we saw the presentation fine and the audio was good. So I think it worked pretty well from my perspective.
I think the officers have to use the microphone, Jim, or whatever you're using. Your audio is great, but Nate was not easily audible.
Yeah, Nate, that's because Nate's 6 feet away from the microphone. And if we ever need to do this again, I'll work on something else to do better with microphones.
I think somewhere I've got a lapel microphone, the RF equipment that goes with it. If that'll work, I have to take it out.
Yeah, I'm using a lapel microphone, but the cord is not long enough to reach from where I am plugged into the internet to where Nate is sitting. That's why you had that issue. But we can do better next time.
Yeah, I've got some ideas on that. So, but I mean, this is part of the learning process. So,
Hey, Glenn, this is Scott. I think you can another club does this around here. You could put the recorded meeting on like the on the listserv for other people maybe to watch like again. Maybe just put it that way. I don't know. I don't know what this.
How about YouTube?
Yeah, that's true. You could do that too. Yeah, no,
channel, I don't know.
Let's be careful before we get too carried away with that. I have asked the gentleman that presented if they were okay with us recording and publishing it to our group, and I don't have an answer to that question yet.
Okay.
Okay.
Or maybe I do and haven't seen it. I'd be reluctant to put it on YouTube. I'm hoping they'll agree that I can put a link to the recording on our reflector, and I would suggest we leave it at that.
Yeah, we'll wait to hear from you. So, okay.
Yeah, let's crawl first and not be out on a racetrack.
Oh, I love racetracks. Okay. We'll wait to hear from you.
All right. See you all. I'm going to check out.
All right. Y'all.
Good night.
Have a good
night.
night.
Good night, guys.
Good night.